Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at more gut feeling stories. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. Just happened to me. I was in Las Vegas for a work event and I went to take an elevator up to my room on the 44th floor. When I got on, there was already one man who had pushed floor 27. As the doors were closing, two guys shouted, "Hold the doors," from the hall, but the man who was in the elevator with me was pushing the door close button. The two guys from outside the elevator managed to stick their arm between the doors at the perfect moment to open the door back up and get on. The two men who just got on pushed floor 32. As we went up, the floors at floor 27 opened, but the first man didn't get off. This was the floor he had chosen before I even got on. The elevator stopped at floor 30 and one person got on and pushed the button to floor 40. Floor 32 came, the doors opened, and the two men asking to hold the doors got off. Meanwhile, the first man is still on the elevator. He kept looking at me and I just got a bizarre feeling. He wouldn't stop staring at me even when I was giving him mean looks. So when floor 40 opened, I got off with the person who pushed that floor's button. I was pretty freaked out at this point, so I actually went to the lobby and got a hotel worker to take me up to my floor. This whole deal was probably another 10 minutes when I finally reached my floor with the hotel worker. We took a hall that curved, and once we rounded that curve, I saw that man who was originally in the elevator with me that was staring. Looked like he was just pacing the hallways. I told the hotel worker that was the man who I was concerned over, and they called security to come get him while the hotel worker and I went back down to the lobby and waited till it was clear. I'm not sure of anyone's malicious intentions in this situation, but I wasn't going to F around and find out as a younger petite woman. Girl is smart. Yeah, that's already sus. I mean, he pressed his floor button and he didn't get off on the floor that he pressed. Seriously, sus. And then when they went back to her floor, he was literally on her floor, pacing around. Yeah, he wanted to do something to her, for sure. I mean, you could already tell his character when he was literally trying to push the door closed. He really wanted to shut the doors that bad. I was on a small Horizon Airlines flight, sitting on the window of one of those small flights that are just 2 seats per row. After I get settled, an older guy sits next to me. The entire flight, we don't say a word, but he does give me a funny look when I ask for a beer to drink. We land, folks start complaining. It's one of those small flights in airports where you can exit from both the front and back. Folks around us start shuffling off. This dude is just sitting there, looking straight ahead, doesn't move a muscle. At first, I just assume he doesn't know our exit is behind us. I lightly tap him on the shoulder, politely tell him we can go. The dude turns to look at me with the most intense face and quietly says, "I don't converse with liars." I don't know what it was, maybe his low but intense tone. Girl instinct kicked in and all the hairs stood up on my arm. I realized that I was pinned in by this guy. He's too big to get around. Fewer and fewer people are on the plane. This guy is just radiating this intense mean aurora. I tried to press the attendant call light, but it was too loud for anyone to hear it. Finally, this nice man caught my eye and basically forced this guy to let me up. I don't know what happened to him because I literally ran through to the pickup point, but I'll never forget feeling helpless and trapped in those 5 to 10 minutes. What? Dude, I would just be so pissed. And why did he say that she was a liar? I don't get it. Like, why is he so mad over her trying to get a beer or something? So I was hiking around in some woods in suburban Dallas before I moved out here to California about a decade ago. I was just walking around catching lizards, looking for snakes and smoking weed. So I hear a cat start meowing, but it was getting pretty late, 7:30 in the summer. I was thinking if I found the cat, I might get a reward. I've done that before. So I start looking and it's just right out of where I can directionally hear it, so I know it's close. Then I give up because I just couldn't find it. I stop to piss and I hear it really loud and I look across this clearing and there was some raggedy looking dude, and right when I made eye contact with him, he meowed at me and I effing dipped out. There was no cat. It was just a man meowing. He was definitely trying to lure women, for sure. What the actual hell? Can you imagine? You're like, "Come here, pss, 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 come here, pss, pss," and then it's a freaking man in front of you meowing. Oh, hell no. I was driving home alone from a college party to the apartment I shared with my then boyfriend at 2 a.m. The car I had was shitty and couldn't handle the freeway, so I was taking a roundabout route home. It was maybe a 45-minute drive. I noticed shortly after I left the party that someone was following me, turn for turn. It was very apparent they were following me specifically after I took many turns and we were nearing my apartment. I didn't want whoever it was following me knowing where I lived, so I tried to lose them. It didn't work. Instead, I decided to pull into the cop station that was a couple of blocks from my apartment. They were well lit and open. The dude following me drove away very quickly, and I had a cop follow me all the way home to make sure I made it back in one piece. I don't know why they were following me, but the fact they'd been following me since I left campus meant they probably didn't have any good intentions. Anyone following your car never has any good intentions. Jeez. But seriously, this is the exact thing that you should do when someone is following you. Drive to the police station. Yes. Never go home. Okay? Never. I got into an Uber. He had his hood up, didn't look at me, and didn't say a word. As soon as my door closed, he took off. He asked me where I lived and how to get there. I told him to follow Uber Maps. He asked again. He was driving erratically and running stop signs, so I told him to turn onto the street we were riding parallel to. He passed multiple turns, blatantly ignoring me. He asked me if I had a music preference, and I said no. He picked a song and turned the volume to max, not just a little loud, all the way up. He opened his console and reached in, sprayed cologne on himself, then offered me gum, taking a piece for himself. I politely declined. He started reaching all around the backseat, saying he dropped his piece. I never saw him drop anything. The song blaring was saying, "Is there anyone out there? Because it's getting harder and harder to breathe." Mind you, he picked the song. It wasn't the radio. There was a UPS truck blocking the one-way street. Knowing this may be my only chance to exit the vehicle, I quietly unbuckled with one hand and the other was on the door handle. As we approached and he was forced to slow down to a stop, I dipped and sped walked the other way. It really felt like he was getting ready for something. Was the music maxed out so nobody could hear me? I have never heard my guts so loud in my head repeating over and over, "Get out." That's scary. What? I mean, the first moment they got in, it was already a red flag. He didn't even say hello. He didn't even try to make a good impression for himself to get a good rating, right? That's already a big red flag. And then he was like, "How do you get to your place?" "Aren't you the Uber driver?" What? This is actually so scary. But like, what's the best thing to do in this situation if they just keep on driving and you actually can't get out? Do you just go for him? Like, do you just go all in? If I'm gonna die, you're gonna die too. I went to Nashville for a concert with a friend. We got into a taxi, this was right before Uber took off, and directed the driver to our motel. For a while, he just made small talk. Very friendly guy. He was one of those people that come off a little lonely and a little socially awkward. The hotel was about 30 minutes away. He was sort of exhausting, and I was already looking forward to being out of the car. About 10 minutes in, he says, "Motel 6, huh? I heard they had bed bugs." I actually had checked recent reviews because this is one of my fears, so I said that. He said, "Oh no, they probably still do," and keeps really pushing the point. I said I knew how to check for them, and if they do, we will move. He says, "Well, why don't you go stay with me and my wife?" And he goes on about how much better and comfier and safer it would be. In the South, you do have people who would totally offer this. Be sane and okay. He was a bit older, so at first I just thought he was a bit behind the times. But then he kept pressing the point and making us uncomfortable. He finally said, "Nothing would happen to you." I got chills. I said our friend and her boyfriend were expecting us at the motel. I said, in fact, that reminds me I need to call and see if they're there so we will know if we need to get the room key from the office. Those friends didn't exist, so I called my mum and asked her a question that is code for "I'm in trouble," and she played along until he was convinced. I think if we'd gone with him, we'd have never been heard from again, or at best, we'd have broken up somewhere violated. That's scary. Anyone who says, "You'll be fine, nothing will happen to you, I would never hurt you," oh no, that's suspicious, man. And any man who's offering a place to stay when he has a wife but he has not consulted with his wife, what kind of wife will be okay with her man bringing 2 random girls home to sleep for the night? Nobody. Nobody's wife will be okay with that. So good thing he wasn't a freaking good liar, because damn, he dumb, but geez. This guy my age used to come into my work regularly. He would chat with me and my coworker and was very friendly. We ended up exchanging numbers and going out to the same bar one night. He was a large guy, tall and just generally big. It was getting late and he wanted to leave. I didn't want to go home with him as I saw him as a friend. The bar was so busy, full of people. He grabbed my wrist and tried to lead me through the crowd out the doors. I tried to pull away several times to go find my friends or get away. I told him I need to find my friends, tried to tell him I needed to go to the bathroom, and he insisted we go and would squeeze tighter. I got a horrible gut feeling and knew I needed to get away from him. Thankfully, we were in a very crowded place, so I kept continually pulling my hand away and finally got my wrist loose. I saw my friend and we went to the bathroom. I told her we needed to leave. I don't know why, but I just got this horrible feeling that I had to get out of there and couldn't forget the grip he had on my wrist. He was standing by the door waiting for me, but her and I stuck through people and ran away. We were staying in a hotel nearby for a friend's birthday, and we ran the entire way there. That's so scary. Yeah, anyone who's literally forcing you to come with them to somewhere, they have bad intentions. Because what the hell, why is he grabbing her wrist like that? Who are you to be touching her wrist like that? Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!